Good morning, everyone. It's Tess, and today's tip 217. I'm trying to make sure I get in here and get this done early in the morning so I don't fall off track. If I do it later at night, I just don't seem to remember. It's kind of humid here today, and I already did my walk, my morning walk. And trying to come up with topics sometimes I do struggle with because I'm 217 in. So I just kind of, if a thought pops into my mind, because I am one of those deep thinkers, I'll actually try to do research on whatever keywords pop into my mind. And because usually with weight loss, there's so much material out there and available that you can always find something. So what I'm just looking for is things that inspire me or try to remind me of my journey or how I'm moving forward. So kind of this morning, what kept popping in my mind, and maybe it's the word scaling the walls. And I think that I was thinking about that because there was a neighborhood person that we lost this weekend to cancer. And I think I just keep thinking about like scaling walls and how do you get over, the walls that present themselves in your life. And I guess what happened to me when I started looking up scaling walls this morning is I found an article in Psychology Today, and the article talked about a gentleman who was just over 400 pounds, and that he had lost 160 pounds and had kept it off for 6 years. And I guess that kind of spoke to me because most people know I'm pretty close to 160-pound weight loss. I have not had 160 off for 5 years, but I am almost 5 years post-surgical. So that kind of spoke to me, and for some reason that scaling the walls was on my mind today. So I looked at his story and I figured, what are his clues? What is he saying? Now, he actually was somebody who was connected to Richard Simmons. So this article was back to about 2016 or 17. But it doesn't matter when the journey occurred. If there's a pointer we can pick up, then that's what makes our journey successful, is that we just continue on them. And kind of, this article is actually called Scaling the Walls of Weight Loss. And it was in Psychology Today. And what this gentleman said is that the toughest walls he had to overcome were emotions, that the emotions were the things that tripped him up the most, and the emotions were the things that caused him the biggest hurdles and the biggest obstacles. And interestingly, he said something that I kind of said yesterday, in that he bullied himself. He had an internal dialogue of bullying himself. And I really believe that we have to stop that negative self-talk. It destroys self-worth. It destroys self-confidence. And it's something we wouldn't do to the outside world. So we really have to stop doing it to ourselves. So I thought, well, that goes in hand in hand. 6 years out, what is his difference is that he is supporting himself in positive terminology and in positive emotions instead of the negative emotions. Because what he kind of said, back to toughest emotions, it was a wall that he couldn't overcome. Weight is influenced by your physical and emotional healing. And weight influences and makes you feel bad physically, emotionally, in your appearance, in your finances, in your mood. And that's something we hear in the challenge all the time. Weight loss doesn't just hit your body. It hits your mind, it hits your finances, it hits your self-worth, it hits all areas of your life. And he did talk about that coping is kind of one of the core fundamentals that Doc V talks about. And actually, Law of Attraction, in every program I've been in, talks about that clearing the mind, that meditation, that visualizing positive thoughts, that positive self-talk, that shift in how you treat yourself so that you can be successful. He said that he had to distract his mind using meditation. So he used meditation, he used visualization, and then as another tool to kind of control his mind, he found a focused hobby. He liked to work mazes, so that if he was struggling, and through meditation, sometimes like people struggle to get into meditation and to get comfortable letting go of thoughts, because some days you're better at it and some days you're worse at it. Some days I need a guided meditation. Sometimes I just want quiet music. But until you kind of learn what you need, or even in harder times, he was talking that he found a focused hobby. And that focused hobby was working mazes. And he picked a focused hobby to distract his mind from that negative self-talk and that bullying. Hi, Dolly. Good to see you. And just kind of as a brief recap, scaling the walls of weight loss. I found an article in Psychology Today of a gentleman who had lost 160 pounds and kept it off for 6 years. And what he talked about is that his biggest obstacle is his emotions and the negative self-talk, the negative self-worth, how it influenced all areas of his life, his physical and emotional feelings, his appearance, his finances, his mood. And he talked about, similar to what we've been learning in the challenge, that in order to overcome it, he used meditation, he used visualization. He had to kind of shift those negative thoughts out. And an additional bonus thing that he does that helps him when he's struggling with that inner dialogue that destroys self-confidence and self-worth, is that he found a focused hobby. And in his case, he worked mazes, because if his mind wouldn't shut down, and if his mind was bullying him and he couldn't shut it down with meditation or with affirmations, or I'll even, in my books in the other room, I'll even write positive pre-paving thoughts so that I'm thinking in a positive direction. He uses the focused hobby of mazes, because when his mind is focused on trying to see where that line's going to go, it allows him to release the negative self-talk that's not supporting his journey. So I just thought that was interesting, because I think in order to succeed at this journey, I felt kind of a kinship with him, because I am almost 5 years out and I'm 160 down. And he was 6 years out and 160 down. So I'm going to actually try to do more research on him and find out if he's still maintained it all this time. But I thought these tools were great, and it supported what I think and what we've been learning, and that our self-talk needs to be better. We need to stop bullying ourselves. We need to start becoming more self-confident and believe in ourselves, have self-worth, and find the tools like the meditation. I know I love meditation. Good morning, Ying. So good to see you. I didn't see you pop up, but I'm so glad to see you here. But writing like the positive statements, because I'll write a positive statement. I want to have an ease and flow day. I want to feel good about myself. I want to be good to others. I want to end the day feeling successful. I'm trying to shift my thoughts. But his idea of a focused hobby, I thought that was a great additional tool to put in your little chest of things to go to, so that you can have tools when you're struggling. And his was a focused hobby. Whether you want to have a puzzle because it can distract you trying to fit the pieces and the picture together, or whether in his case it was a maze, because he would use the maze and that would shift his mind away from the negative self-talk. Or I know one of my grandmothers loved word finds, search and word finds. So anything that can help you shift away, or that you can engage your mind in when you're struggling, is a beautiful tool. I think that the biggest obstacles, I think he's right about the biggest obstacles we all need to overcome in weight loss are connected to our self-worth, our self-confidence, and our self-talk. So hopefully one of these tools will help you. And I found it hopeful too that he was 6 years out, 160 down, and he was sharing the tools that he's been using to keep him moving. I know that the things that have kept me going during these times of COVID were the meditation. So, oh, good morning. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. And like I said, I'm just looking them up, and what happens is just some word will pop in my head, and I try to find something that relates. And I just think that idea of a focused hobby is so good. If meditation is struggling, or if writing thoughts out to try to keep your mind going forward, fat filters, like Doc V says, shift them out. Look for some kind of a focus thing. I know there are puzzles. I love like the hard board game puzzles. There are games online. There are puzzles online, actually. There are like he said, he uses mazes. My grandmother's used word finds. Some people use crossword puzzles. But if you can find a focused hobby, even if it's painting or if it's drawing, something that can shift your mind away from that negative self-talk. Because as soon as we can learn to manage that inner bully that we would never share with anyone in the outside world, I think our journey becomes just a little bit easier. So I hope you guys shift that bully, help train that bully to be your friend today, and make this day better than yesterday was. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for always being here for me. And today, let's start to teach that inner bully to be our friend. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.